This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina League.
Well, hello, Davis Fisher. How are you?
I am doing quite well this morning. How are you, Regina?
Good. I'm so happy to have you on our show today. You are the co-owner of Junk Raider, along with your partner, Ted, and you guys are the founders. And what an industry. This kind of exploded. Was this a COVID business that just popped out?
You know what? I think a lot of folks came out during COVID and started junk removal companies. I know, I forget the last figure I saw. I want to say it's somewhere upwards of like 20,000 junk removal companies in the country, which is just an absurd number, right? But no, we started in 2018. So obviously a couple of years before COVID. But even then, I think we were just kind of getting into it, unknown to us, right? But we were just getting into the industry, even still in its early infancy stages before it's really blown up, obviously, to what it is today. So obviously 2018, 6 years ago, we've been doing it ever since here in Charlotte. And, you know, you had some bigger players like 1-800-GOT-JUNK and Junk King. They've been doing it. You know, 1-800 is kind of the pioneer of the industry. They started back in '89, I think.
Wow.
Even then, you know, even they, with all the success they've had over that 30-year period, it has still been kind of an unknown industry to a lot of folks. And so now in 2024, I think a lot of people understand and know what junk removal is, but it's still maturing for sure. And you've got a lot of people doing it just because it's a, you know, low barrier to entry type market. But no, I think it's been a COVID business for some folks, but not necessarily for us. We started it, Ted and I did back in 2018, met at our corporate jobs and decided, hey, we want to start our own business and have something and move over to it eventually. And just, you know, we're very much that type of, you know, those types of people, just entrepreneurial minded and want to have something for our own. That's kind of why we went after it.
Well, I see you guys kind of do it all. You do residential, commercial, retail, cleanouts, demolition. Talk to us about your model versus the other. What sets you apart?
That's a great question, because in junk removal, like I said, it's low barrier to entry, right? So it's not the task of hauling junk is nothing groundbreaking, right? You pick up a couch, you put it in a truck and you take it away. It's the convenience factor for people. That's what they're paying for. For us, the customer experience is the differentiator. It's how much time, effort, and resources and strategy really you put into the front end of acquiring a customer and then walking them through an entire journey all the way until your guys on site finish loading that last item and they're collecting payment. What is that feeling for the customer? And Ted and I have, you know, we've agonized for years over like, what is the differentiator? And we think we've got a few. I mean, on the front end with us, we've been we're very innovative type folks and wanting to give people what they want relative to the times, meaning, you know, we all use Amazon, we use Google, we want answers and we want them now. And most of the time when you're shopping, whether it's for a product or a service, you want price. Right? I go on Amazon a few times a week and I type in just random stuff, just to, what is a basketball hoop for the swimming pool cost, or what's the hair dryers go for these days? And I get a laundry list of pricing options. And obviously that's for products and we're selling a service, but kind of the same mantra for us, right? Like in the junk removal industry, you would be hard pressed to find any other provider. If you go to their website and go to if they even have a pricing tab, what does it cost for you to get your items hauled away? Whether that's a couch or you're doing a full attic clean out. And so Ted and I have taken a different approach to just our website in general, but it also spills over to, you know, if you call us, you text us, we're very transparent about what is the price, because at the end of the day, I'm helping you as the customer by giving you what you want without having to go on site and be like, I got to get in front of you. That dirty car salesman tactic of like, come on into the dealership. We gotta shake hands. We want to give you what you want so that you can make an informed decision. But it also helps us as a business, obviously. So we're not sending our trucks out on 5 to 10 estimates a day and hopefully closing 1 or 2. I'd rather, you know, give people what they want. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. Let's move on and go our different ways and we'll get the next customer. So that really, you know, with our online pricing calculator, you can go on and put single items in. You can look at full load pricing and kind of do it that way, obviously based on your zip code. And you can schedule. We've got a number of different ways you can contact us, call, text. email, and we're very responsive, right? So if you call in, you text in, you're not getting a call tree. You're not working with somebody that's outsourced. You're calling our local junk grader employed folks. They're answering on the first ring. They're giving you what you want. It's a friendly voice. It's a helpful voice. And we're set up to be able to provide same day and next day services, which not everybody can say. Although the industry standard is that they can, not everybody can actually do it. We actually do it based on the equipment we have. We have 5 trucks, 10 employees that are all in-house. We don't subcontract work out. So we just take a lot of pride in how we do and provide the service, but also on the front end, just the customer experience with us. We put in a lot of, Ted and I come from technology background. So we're very much trying to make that experience online for the customer really premium and something that they're used to when they go to these other outlets and consume products or services. Again, I'll go back to the Amazon example or anything else. We wanted to bring that over into the junk removal industry, which is a really legacy, outdated, just dusty kind of experience for most folks, which is, hey, I'm calling in, I've got an attic clean out, and they're like, oh, great, I've got an opening for, next Monday at 5 p.m. Can I come out and have a look? And I guess, come on out, but I'd love to just have a general sense of pricing today. So those are just kind of a few things I would touch on.
Well, I know you guys have a very, you have core values, a mission statement, and it's obvious that it's all coming together. I see you have over 1,200 5-star reviews. That is absolutely amazing. And I love how you explained it. So talk to us about the eco-friendly side. What do you do with all the stuff that you pick up?
A phenomenal question. So because we're so ingrained in the community and the fact that we take such pride in how we run our business, Ted and I are not setting this up for a sale. We're not setting it up to, it's not a get rich quick scheme for us. It's really, we wanted to build a business. That's really our true passion, is the business itself. We weren't super concerned with what it was, what product or service we were going to do. We just wanted to start a business. And as we kind of started to think about it further, we wanted to couple that with what is actually helpful and useful to the community. And so taking items, a lot of kind of, I'll say, larger organizations that folks are used to donating items to oftentimes turn away a lot of great items simply because they don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the space. You may show up at Salvation Army, show up at a Goodwill. Hey, I've got a nice sectional that we agree, but we just don't have space for it. And so what we've tried to do is take a different approach in that, we work with local charities and churches and just those types of organizations more so than the big boys, just because we can almost always find a place to repurpose items and get those back into the hands of people that can use them in the market. There is a decent amount of stuff that is, literal junk. It has to go to the landfills and the recycling stations, and we do that responsibly. But our approach in terms of eco-friendly is such that we put such a high premium on. Our trucks are not defaulting to, I'm going to the landfill, right? Our trucks are defaulting to, I'm going to see if I can donate this to my local partners. And we've got them all over Charlotte, north, south, east, and west, so that we're also efficient with our operation. If we're down, here near you in Ballantyne, and we've got some items we want to donate, we don't want to travel all the way up to Statesville to go and try to get rid of it. So, or donate it, I should say. But so we've got different pockets around the city that we work with. But yeah, we just take an approach to it, a really extreme approach, because we care enough about the community and the environment that it's really important to us. And so for us, we're going to continue to do that. And we've also got big ambitions to expand to different cities. We're also in Greensboro. We moved into that Greensboro, Winston, High Point market about 3 months ago. And we've got plans to expand across the state of North Carolina and get into Raleigh and Wilmington as well, probably within the next year or so, but also just here across the Southeast. And that's really important to us to continue to grow and expand and provide our services in different markets, but to never lose really what we care about. That is the communities in which we're serving.
Yeah. So you just took us through a franchise model. Basically, you are looking to franchise and really grow the business that way.
Yeah,
Talk to us a minute about that.
Yeah, candidly, I was new to franchising about 2 years ago. I took a deep dive into it, learned a lot about it. We finally pulled the trigger on, hey, this is the expansion model we want to pursue. So we got our franchise model in place about this time last year, and started working through. If you're unfamiliar with franchising or setting up a franchise system, there's a lot to it. There's legal side, there's sales side, And it's really difficult, if I can just put it bluntly. And so, for us, we're still kind of in the emerging stages of our franchise offering, while in parallel, we're still trying to put a lot of emphasis on just corporate growth, as they call it in the franchise world. So you've got franchise locations for a lot of brands where, Regina owns Junk Raider of South Charlotte. That's your own LLC. It's your own company. You just happen to license the IP, the brand, all of our knowledge base from the parent company, the franchise company of Junk Raider. But you can do that all over the country. But in parallel, that same brand can also have corporate owned outlets, which we have obviously here in Charlotte and in Greensboro. We can continue to expand our corporate outlets all over the country like we are going to do. But if and when we find good franchise owners who we believe in and are committed and want to start their own business or tack on to businesses that they already own, there's a lot of multi-unit franchise owners out there. We absolutely will bring them in-house and continue to coach them and help them grow their local business. But franchising is a great model. It's a great business model for really fast expansion. It's just, you got to be very cognizant of how you do it so that you don't basically oversell too many territories that you can't support. And that's really what we're trying to be conscious of here in the early days of our franchise model.
While protecting your brand. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
That is key. So are there any misconceptions in your industry that you would like to discuss with us?
I think the main one that comes to mind is just, and I mentioned it obviously earlier on this podcast, but just the fact that it's so low barrier, it's almost anybody can start a junk removal company. What I think the misconception is that, yes, anybody can start it, but not everybody can have longevity in the industry. And I don't mean that to toot my own horn. We've got a long ways to go. We're fully confident that we'll be here for a long time. But you see a lot of players come and go. And I think that's true for any industry, but specifically in junk removal or really any low barrier to entry model. When I say low barrier, it just means, there's not really a whole lot of IP or anything that you need to start. If you have a truck, a trailer, a dump truck, anything that you can deploy on the road to pick up items, you can really get into the space. But the misconception there is the strategy around building the business. Again, to what I mentioned earlier, the product or the service itself wasn't super important to Ted and I, but we settled on junk removal because it is a value add in the community. It was low barrier to entry to begin with, and we could get in that way. But we're really more focused on building a business, and that encompasses all things marketing, finance. You get into the people business, managing people internally, and customer relationships. So for us, that's where the knowledge and the expertise around building a business, that's what sets some of us apart from the others. Again, not to talk badly at all about my competition. I actually thrive on competition because I think we need more of it. I was actually talking with Ted the other day, my business partner, about this and that. I think that the waste management industry, if you look at the facts and figures, it's into the hundreds of billions of dollars in terms of the market cap, like the available money that you can go and get. And that encompasses everybody. That encompasses junk removal companies, your waste management companies like Republic Services, dumpster companies, right? Anything that has to do with trash. We're just a very specific niche. But that industry is so massive, yet it's still untapped. If you go and look at 1-800-GOT-JUNK, which is kind of the pioneer of junk removal, they started back in '89, large franchise company. They're in the US, Canada, they're global. They only have, I say only, it's a massive number, but it's a peanut in the grand scheme of the overall waste management industry. They're somewhere around $600 or $700 million in revenue. And we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar, hundreds of billion-dollar year industry. And so for me, when I look at competition, quote unquote, air quotes, I don't see it as competition. I want to grow the pie, make the pie bigger. And so for me, we work day in and day out with other junk removal companies, passing leads back and forth. Hey, this person needs same day service. We don't have the bandwidth today. Can you service them? So wow. I think that is just an important piece about the industry. If you get online into these Facebook groups and Reddit threads and all these other things, junk removal community is very close knit. Like, we all just want to help each other, which I think is fairly unique in terms of the industry, from industry to industry. It's cutthroat in technology and SaaS startups. Within the junk removal space, like, we just want to help. Like, we'll put out a post like, what would you guys quote this at? Or I've got a bunch of bricks. Like, what's your best suggestion of where to dispose of these or how to repurpose these? Like, those types of questions daily in these groups, and everybody's jumping in, just trying to help that single individual solve that immediate need that they have. So I think the misconception there, to get back to your original question, Regina, is really just the fact that we are in junk removal. It's such a basic thing, but it's such a much needed service in the community. Who strategizes and does well around marketing and branding are really the folks that are going to stand out. And that's, if you start a junk removal company, just understanding that and trying to always work towards that and innovate is what's going to help you be successful or not.
Well, you have a very unique blend of vision, entrepreneurship, and then just passion. That's amazing what you've just described. So I'm dying to know, what is the most weirdest, unique thing you guys have ever picked up, either from a home or business?
Well, we've got our guy. Another thing I was talking with Ted about the other day. I was like, we don't get to see all the stuff that our guys in the field pick up, because Ted and I are obviously running the business. We're not on the trucks day in and day out. We do get, part of our processes are before and after photos. We get to go in our system and see, like, what did they pick up yesterday? As you can imagine, 95% of the things are standard furniture, appliances, those sort. Nothing like, oh my God, that's so cool. Just the other day, our guys threw a picture in the chat of a little kitten that they had found underneath a mattress, and all of the employees start jumping in because they're animal lovers. They're like, oh my God, where's the mom? So
Right.
we got to get that kitten some milk. But those types of things. One of my guys a few weeks ago found like a little husky puppy that he had talked with the owner about, and they were like, yeah, you can adopt him. And so he took him and adopted the puppy. But I'd say that in terms of items, like, I know we did a hoarder house clean out a few years ago, and thankfully our guys were pretty careful, but they had found like needles and stuff. So like under all of this rubbish. So you have to be careful, like not to just blindly stick your hands in places where, hey, you might get stuck. They also found machetes. So you'll find stuff like, just anything and everything is fair game when you're talking about humans who have lived on this planet for any number of years. We consume stuff, we forget about it, and then it ends up somewhere and they call us to come pick it up. And so, yeah, it's some jobs are really gross, some jobs are really cool, but those are kind of a few things that come to top of mind.
I bet they have some real laughs some days. So when you're not running this business, tell me about what you do for fun. I think you said you have little ones.
I do. I've got 2 little kids. So I guess the fun is making sure that they're having fun. And so whatever it is, whatever their schedule is for the day is what we're doing. Usually I talked to you earlier about Stream Park there in the Valentine Hotel. We love trying to find new kind of pockets of little kids stuff, playgrounds and whatnot to go to. And so we're trying to always do that for the kids. For me, personally, I would classify myself as a little weird in the sense that I love business. I love doing what I do here. And so Monday through Sunday, I've always got my hand in something, whether that's, trying to network with real estate agents or folks like yourself, or just figure out more ways to innovate around our business. What's our next expansion territory? Like, what are we doing? That's kind of the fun piece of it for me. I don't look at this as a job or like work. And so, when people say, what are your hobbies? I'm like, I like working, I guess you could say. But no, I grew up a basketball guy. So I played basketball in high school and went to college, graduated from Carolina and was a manager for the basketball team there. So I did 3 years of assistant basketball coaching at a small Division II school in Tennessee. That's where I met my wife, and did that for 3 years before I got into corporate sales and met Ted and started Junk Raider out of that. But, basketball is a hobby of mine. So I'll go out in the driveway and shoot around a little bit, or I'll go play a pickup game. And that's kind of my outlet, if you will, to just kind of do something for myself.
Well, that's wonderful. Having that good life work balance is so important. And I think with many of us, working from home, it's great. I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, you have been a true joy. I'm very excited to know you now. I'm sure we'll run into each other out in the community. So let's wrap up by you telling our listeners, how do they find you? How do they reach you?
Yeah, the best way is our website. That's www.junkraider.com. And there's however your preferred means of communication is, you'll find it on the website. You can call, you can text, email. We're very responsive in all ways. You can find us on social media. If you just search on places like Instagram, Junk Raider will pop up. Same thing with LinkedIn, Junk Raider will pop up. But to give you a direct line for those in Charlotte, 594-1271 is the best number to call or text. Again, 704-594-1271.
Very good. Okay. It has been a pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com or call 980-351-5719.